right, so first off, would you like to introduce yourself to our viewers?
My name is Gord Wilson, and I guess I'm a singer, songwriter from Lake Country, BC, Canada. And yeah, I'm glad to be here. Thank you very much.
No problem. Thank you for being on.
Absolutely.
And I suppose we should start at the beginning. When did your passion for music begin?
Oh, always. Yeah, my dad was a guitar player, and everybody pretty much plays guitar in my family. So on my dad's side, so it was just something that I wanted to do, to fit in with the crowd, I guess, of my family and stuff. And they were all pretty good too, so it made me want to be better, and then I did the school band thing, and music was always in there. I tried to do the education route of it, but I wasn't made for that. I just like to play. Yeah.
My other half's like that. He can just pick up a song by hearing it, whereas I've got to actually look at the chords and find out, oh, where's that in the song and all
that. Yeah. It's good to know, definitely. I'm glad I did learn that stuff in the early days, because it definitely gave me a good base, for songwriting. I always wanted to write songs. Learning other people's songs didn't interest me that much. Maybe I didn't have the total attention span for it at the time, so I would just write my own stuff, and then we had punk rock bands, and we just wrote our own songs and stuff like that. But later on in life I realized learning some cover songs is not a bad idea, because it definitely broadens your musical vocabulary, if you will. So yeah, I think the mix of the two really helped me with my songwriting, and which I really try to concentrate on, mostly being an original musician.
That's good though. It's good.
Was doing some breakup thing there.
Yeah, it was.
Are you still there?
Yeah, I'm here. Okay. You hear me okay?
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay, it's back to normal. So I suppose going from that, who do you think has influenced you musically?
A lot of different people, I guess. I can't, I don't know if I consider myself to be necessarily like a real musician or a real songwriter. I don't know what that is, but because it makes me feel like I'm bragging about myself or something, because there's guys and gals and out there that are way better than me, that are way humbler, you know what I mean? So I don't like to put myself on, I'm this kind of person or what. I just try to make songs, and I listen to a lot of different music, and I think as if I want to be a musician, or if I want to be a songwriter, learning all those different styles, really, in metal bands and punk bands. So I guess, from there it'd be like the Misfits, or early punk stuff, Sex Pistols, because I'm kind of old. And and then I started getting into the newer metal, obviously, like Pantera and Lamb of God and Machine Head and Doyle. But as a songwriter, if I want to say as a songwriter, like Neil Young or John Prine, Guys that they don't have to be really complicated to be good. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Because it's just in the way that they present their craft. You know, and that's like the two. Like you got like bands like Lamb of God or technical bands. And then where you can't express that in this kind of music. You know what I mean? So I really like to have that balance. If I want to write some kind of meaningful, like, angry song or something, to do it on acoustic guitar, I can't get that across. You know what I mean? So I like to have that other outlet, if that makes any sense.
It does, it really does. And that moves perfectly on to my next question,
Okay.
which is, you sing quite a variety
Mm-hmm.
of
Yeah.
music. Which do you enjoy performing more?
I've always wanted to be a guitar player. I really didn't become like a singer per se until maybe 3 years ago. I was a singers in metal bands and things like that, but as like a serious, like working on it as another instrument, about 3 years. So doing the metal thing as just a singer and going out there is pretty cool, because there's a whole different energy about it than going into a coffee shop and pulling out your acoustic guitar and actually playing nicely and technically, but I'm a little bit more reserved. You know what I mean? And there's the two dynamics. I guess you can get different things across. So I really enjoy both. I definitely go through my phases where I'll be like, I really got to write some of this kind of, maybe more edgier stuff or something, and then I'm like, I'm starting to lose my acoustic chops or whatever, so I got to go back over and do some more of that. You know what I mean? But yeah, no. If I can get a stage or a corner to play on, I'll do it. Yeah, I don't care.
So it's, but like I've seen obviously your videos on YouTube and that. And when you sing, you can kind of see some emotion and the passion behind that. So do you have any specific messages behind your songs that you'd like to share, or?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Well, like my acoustic stuff all have stories behind them, you know. I like my stuff to have a story, you know. It I don't know if it makes me helps me remember the song, but which is kind of true. But yeah, I like to have a story behind my song. So like, I don't know if you've seen, but like 2 years ago, I had a heart attack, and I was kind of getting into really starting to play, more guitar and do more songwriting. And then I had this heart attack, and then I couldn't go back to work, and I kind of like absolutely lost my mind. It was just a weird period in my life, and I basically left my house and everything, and I moved into the woods on Vancouver Island for like 4 months,
Wow.
and I just wrote songs and played guitar, and yeah, when I came out, and I just started playing them wherever I could, and yeah, it was pretty cool because there was a lot more people out there than I thought. They kind of maybe didn't go running into the woods, but had a similar experience. You know what I mean? So yeah, every song, it was basically, it helped me kind of heal, I guess, because and you can see it in the songs from when I started to when I ended them. They were very angry in the middle, and then kind of like I had to leave all that stuff behind. It like there's a song coming out hopefully next month. It's called Castaway, and it was basically like I was feeling like this castaway out in the middle of the woods, but at the same time I had to cast away all these angry emotions and things. And that was like the song where I came out of this fog I was in. I was like, what the hell am I doing? This is not cool. Like this is not cool anymore, So I got my stuff together, and then I tried to get home, and I was like so broke because I'd lost my job and everything after I had my heart attack, and trying to get I had like benefits from work, but
Yeah.
it was like just a schmozzle. And then so yeah, I was broke. I was so emotionally broke. I was like, my truck was broke, and that's when I wrote that song "Broke," and that's on the Spotify there, and that's the video on the YouTube. Yeah, so there's a story behind that one. Yeah. So coming from that, I started trying to get out in these little competitions, and it did not too bad. I'm just getting to perform in front of people not so angry, like coming from that metal background, you know what I mean? And so that's been a neat switch, definitely, but I just want to keep putting out music, and I don't care about the money thing or how it goes about. I'm just surprised I even learned how to do it, because it was quite a process. Like I didn't have nobody helping me. It was like so long and frustrating, and but yeah, finally when I cracked the code and got it out on the Spotify, it was like a magical moment for me, because it was like, holy Jesus, an older guy trying to learn some of these digital platforms and things, it was. So yeah, once I got it out, it was like, now I'm going to saturate the market, whatever I can. But it also inspired me to do better, you know what I mean? Like, because I'm doing all my own recording and mixes, and obviously they're not like, multi-$1,000 qualities or whatever, but they're getting better with each one, and I figured like if I kept waiting to put them out because I wasn't totally happy with this part or that, it was like, it would never happen, so it's kind of like breaking the ice, and the response has been pretty cool. The fact that 0 people's listening to it is like blowing my mind. Like, yeah, for real, like it's really neat, and getting on this Twitter thing is new for me. I joined it like years ago for other reasons, and I was like, whatever. It was like 2015, and then I thought, about a month or two ago, I thought, I'll just see what's going on in here, and started connecting with this person and that person. Next thing you know, it's like, holy, there's a whole musical community on here. I had no clue.
Great community on Twitter.
Yeah, and like so supportive. Like, it blows my mind. Like, I'm not used to that,
I was
I don't know if it's sorry?
I was pleasantly surprised with Twitter.
Yeah, as a social media can be so brutal, I haven't seen any of that on there, other than, the trending stuff, where, that's beyond your control, but, yeah, I try to not look at the hashtags on the side. But yeah, no, I've been, what was that, sorry?
Just stay on your news feed and you'll be okay.
Absolutely. Yeah, you can definitely get sucked in to the portal of maybe information. But yeah, no, pleasantly surprised by the Twitter. It's been great. And anybody that follows me on Twitter, thank you very much. It's been really cool. Yeah, very appreciative. Yeah, and yourself too. Yeah, and I'm so new to it too. It's like all this stuff comes in your, it's like, what is all this? I'm trying to decipher through everything, you know. It's a little bit different of a platform, but it's very cool. Yeah, I dig it. You know, music, I don't know, I'm an artist as well, and I find the art community to be very different than the music community. Sometimes the music community can be very harsh. Like, I don't know, maybe it's just up here or what, but so yeah, it's cool to see, and to see other people's creations. It's like giving me a whole look on things differently, like the way that people do their recordings, you know, because I'm just figuring it out. I trial and error, you know, and then I see people will put something cool up how they did theirs or whatever, and you know, nobody's really scared to, you know, help each other, and it's really cool. I really dig it. Yeah.
Well, I think you've answered my next question now with that art thing. Because I was going to say, do you have any other talents apart from the singing and the guitar?
Yeah, I am an artist. I'm a sheet metal worker by trade, welder. So after I had my heart attack and I couldn't go back to work, I started really focusing on my art as well, to pay the bills or whatever and get by. And yeah, so I draw, I paint, yeah, but mostly metal art, like stainless steel and copper is kind of my metals that I work with. And I'm a TIG welder, if that makes any sense. It's maybe kind of a generalized type of welding that I had to go to school for, you know. So yeah, so it kind of gives me a little more edge into working with the metal, because I can do more with stainless steel and copper, you know. If that makes any sense. Maybe people that do art might know.
It makes sense, I think.
So yeah, I make sculptures and things. Yeah.
That's cool. That's cool.
My last creation was a big rose made out of stainless steel, and it was taller than me, and I'm huge. I'm 5'8". But it was also a water fountain. Yeah, so yeah, that was my last one.
And how long does it take you to make these?
It depends, you know. That one took a while. That one took about 2 months to make. Partly because I'm very OCD.
It's got to be perfect.
And yeah, and that one took a lot of research and development, you know. I had to make sure that the water wasn't splashing everywhere, for one, you know, and everything was kind of kept in the little basin that it was in, you know. So yeah, it was really cool. I think actually that it might be on my Twitter.
Yeah. Oh, I'll have a look for that after.
Yeah, there's a couple things on there actually. Yeah.
Cool. So I'm going a bit serious, I suppose. The big subject, apart from the US election, is COVID-19. So how has it been in Canada, or where you are?
Where I am, like I said before, like I'm in a small town, like I don't know, maybe 30,000 people in my town that I'm in. The nearest town is quite big, and there was an outbreak there. because it is a tourist town. So Canada Day, it lit up. It's kind of done this, and now we're climbing back up again. And you know, British Columbia, where I'm at, we're kind of like just teetering the line,
Yeah.
and provinces like Quebec and Ontario are pretty bad. Yeah. That's where the generalization of the cases is in back east, Toronto area, Montreal, Quebec area. So like I said, out here in the West, we're just kind of teetering it, we got shut down in March, and I got laid off from my job, and then, probably won't go back because all the restaurants are just, touch and go. The pubs really aren't doing too much. Live music is pretty much null. Yeah, things are rolling, but I wouldn't say that it's like anybody's too confident, after going through from 4 months, March to whatever it was, end of May or something like that, where it was like you say, like how you guys are there, and it was a wake up, you know what I mean? Although I guess it taught us a little bit about ourselves as well. But yeah, the thing is it's like Canada's a pretty big country, and the border below is closed to the States, but people are still going across the country, you know what I mean? And I don't understand how you're gonna, keep it, contained when there's this interprovincial travel, but looking at what, is going on down below, unfortunately for them, we're doing okay. We had pretty good support from our government, they did kick in to help us out every month. I mean, they're gonna want it back, but when they figure out what's going on, they're gonna want a good chunk of it back. But you know what? So be it. It got us through. You know what I mean? And I think without that, it could have been really bad. Yeah. Unfortunately, I think what people are just tired of it. I'm tired of hearing about it. I'm tired of living with it and pushing the boundaries a bit more. Like Halloween was a big kaboom, right? Everybody was out. Well, we've been inside too long and whatever. And who am I to say? But I think we got to tone her down a bit, reel it back in, give ourselves a little bit of a chance to get ahead of it again. That's how I feel, Yeah, and the masks for the general people are okay. They're just like, okay, whatever. This is what we got to do. Myself, whatever. I'm not gonna fight about it with some guy at Walmart. You know what I mean? Like to go get my groceries. Like, yeah, okay, I'll put the thing on. Like whatever. Like you're not taking my rights away. Like I just want to go get my frickin' groceries. So and I think that's how generally people are feeling around here. It's not like I've seen in some other places. Thankfully, yeah. But I think we're all just just on that edge of please let it be over, and geez, we're tired of this. See what the winter holds, I suppose. Yeah.
Well, I suppose over here, that's an advantage to us because no one goes out in the winter anyway. It's too cold.
Yeah. Oh, definitely here too. I mean, that's going to be that may be a good thing. I don't know. I don't know about the schools, like, like, they've kind of like they've had a lot of the schooling outside, as much as they could, they can't do that too much longer, if at all, now, you know. So yeah, I don't know. Here it gets really cold. We have some pretty sub-zero temperatures, so we'll see.
I've seen pictures of Canada in winter.
Yeah, I mean, I'm in the Okanagan, which is like, they call it like, Canada's California, but the extreme is like from one to the other, like we get like 40 above 0 Celsius, and we get like at least 20 below at times, and a lot of snow. So yeah, we we definitely have that, but nowhere near like, if we were to go a little bit north of here, where you just don't. I God bless those people.
I must say. So I'm asking everyone this, but do you have any advice? Because people are struggling, especially over here. I don't know about everywhere else, but I assume it's the same. But we're locked down with being stuck inside. Like over here with the NHS for mental health and stuff, it's completely stopped. So people can't call many places and things like that. So do you have any advice for people coping with this?
What I found, and maybe it sounds weird or whatever, but just, and I think you'll be happy later on that you did, is just keep a journal. Even if it takes you, 10 or 15 minutes out of the day just to kind of like write down what you did or how you're feeling, you know what I mean? That was a big thing for me. It was just something that I would start and then never finish, I like never continue the routine, but I have. And I think that's a really good idea. And you can kind of look back on it, like look back a couple of weeks and you're like, holy geez, okay, I have come a little bit of ways, or things are not as bad as they seem, as they did that day, but I think if anything, being creative, whether you are creative or you've never been creative before, I think that's something that is a really good outlet, other than, reading is good. But what I found with people that I know are, they're trying new things, like maybe I'll try to learn to play guitar, and it breaks up that monotony, definitely. Yeah, like you say, keeping in touch with people is really key, but if you can't, that's a tough one, yeah, I guess, take advantage of it when you can. That's the biggest thing, I don't think any of us really know. This is so
That's why
new
I'm
for
asking
everybody.
everyone.
Yeah, I think I like to think maybe that's a good thing, but this is so unprecedented, these times for us anyways. I mean, obviously in the grand scope of the world, but yeah, for us, I mean, this is throwing the world's wobbly right now. Yeah.
So we'll get off COVID now.
Okay. Damn COVID.
So you've got an EP out, 10th of December.
Yes, ma'am. Yes. Yes, I'm actually pretty kind of stoked about it. I wasn't really gonna do a physical copy CD, because I've done it with all my other bands and I still got lots. And I wasn't sure even if people had CD players anymore, I don't. I have lots of CDs, but haven't opened them. But, a few people were like, hey, man, you should put the CD. So I thought, and since um, I kind of started throwing out singles, and like I said, getting a little bit better with my mixes and my recordings as I went, and then we got the lockdown, and the world was like going like, holy crow, like very chaotic. And that's when really the unrest started with the George Floyd thing down below and everything. And I'm a history guy. I'm very political, always have been. And that's when I wrote that song Stains of Humanity. And it's basically like, that's who we are. I mean, all that stuff. Like, if you watch the video, there's two videos, the performance one, but there's another one. And it's just basically like, from the beginning of mankind, it's just been like nation of wars, you know what I mean? And we're just a product of that. We don't even have a choice in the matter, from the minute we like step on the ground where we live, these man-made nations and all this stuff, borders, and those were not there in the beginning, you know what I mean? But I can ramble. But anyways, so when I started that song, I was just going to put that out. And then things just started getting even more crazy. And, tearing down of the monuments and, people standing up for their rights and just having enough. And, it made me look back and look at some of these things that I really didn't know about in history. Canada's history, world history, US history. I was just amazed, like things that were not taught in school, let's say. And that's where that song, our gyrocracy, comes from. And that is an actual word that I found. And it means political wealth, just based on who you are, basically. How much money you have. That's where you're going to be in that sect of government or power society, and you have to, the lyric video kind of tells a story of it, but it goes to where, again, it doesn't matter so much where you come from sometimes, they're just, these powers that be just want to keep squashing us down. And again, I was going to leave it at that. And then up here, we've had a lot of protests and a lot of conflict between the First Nations and the RCMP, Royal Canadian Mounted Police. A lot of terrible things has happened to the Native people of this country, and things that people don't know about our founding fathers. Like Canada always comes across as so innocent, to a lot of people, and for a lot of parts we are, as a general public we're good, but our history is not, and that's where Blood on the Flag comes from. And it outlines the Indian Act, where their land was stolen from these people, and the residential school system, was this terrible thing, and basically I wanted people to know, that, I'm not Native, but I have Native family, you know. And when I was a kid, I seen the discrimination against, you know, them. I never understood it as a young kid, you know. They were just like me, you know what I mean? Um, but later on in life, it's just like you couldn't believe the atrocities that happened, and a blind eye is turned, you know. And now this next song that is called "Race Divided," and it's basically we are all the human race, you know. The division is not because of us; it's because of, you know, ghosts of the past, basically, you know what I mean? And basically that's what that is about, you know. I wanted this album to be not very long, because one, people's attention span is not very long. And I just wanted to be, you know, like hard hitting, and just like there's a message worth every song. And it was almost like a timeline of what I've seen over the last 6 months, you know. And so yeah, I bit the bullet and I did the CD thing. And I think it's cool. Yeah, you know. And again, I just want to get it out there, and I want people to maybe come away from it with like, oh geez, I didn't know that, you know. It's definitely something that you're going to have to listen to a couple times to hear the words maybe every time, but you know, it's a little heavier, but that's part of the trick.
I think it's important because I think people like the physical copy. Even if they do listen to it online, they still like to have that in their hand.
Absolutely. I'm that way anyways, you know. I like to see it. I like to see the artwork, you know, read if it has lyrics, you know. I'm kind of one of those kind of guys. But yeah, you know, I just wasn't sure if people were still buying them, you know. I wanted to do like the 45s or something, you know what I mean? But those are really expensive. So the people that do those, good on you. Because yeah, they're not cheap. But yeah, you know, and then it's kind of a tester as well. I don't know. I only made 50 of them, so we'll see.
Well,
didn't break the bank on them.
I'm sure they'll go. They'll all go.
Thank you.
So before we go, is there
Yeah.
anything else that you would like to say?
I would just like to say thank you. Thank you very much, and thank you for your time and your follow and getting to know you more. And everybody out there that's watching and following me on Twitter, thank you very much. And whoever's shared my stuff, it blows my mind for real. Like, yeah. Like, one thing I gotta say is, like, I had like, I don't know, maybe like 29 listeners on my Spotify, you know, a month ago, and like now I got like over 100. To me, that's huge. I just like, I can quit now, you know. For real, like I would have never even thought, you know, that people listen to this stuff and go, hey, that's not half decent, you know. So that's cool, you know. It gives me drive to keep going, you know. So thank you. Yeah.
And thank you for coming on and talking to us. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Well, thank you very much.
So I'll grab all the places where people can listen to your music, buy your EP in December, and I'll put it in the description box at the bottom.
Sure, thank you.
This has been a
and
pleasure.
I hope everything goes well for you down there, over there.
Yeah, we'll be fine. Fingers crossed.